Afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the January 14th, 2025 initial meeting of this school year. We are holding today's meeting at Northern Middle School, and our first order of business will be to take the oath of office, which will be administered by Mr. Bill Benninger, the clerk of the court, and he will administer that oath to Mr. Matthew Treeyes and myself.
All right, so I need to ask each of you to raise your right hand for me, please. You do swear and affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland and support the Constitution and laws thereof, and that you will, to the best of your skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of member of the Board of Education of Garrett County according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
I do.
Okay. I need, if you would sign here on the blue line, please. If you would sign the blue line. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for that.
We will now be going into executive session, returning for public session at approximately 4 o'clock. Under Section 3-305B of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Annotated Code, there is one reason the board will go into closed session this evening: to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction. Any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Specifically, the topics for tonight will be 3-305B, 1, topic including Superintendent Goals Update, Southern Garrett High School Anonymous Letter, and personnel updates. The reason these topics will be discussed in closed session instead of open session is as follows. Personnel topic pursuant to 3-305B1, disclosed above, will be considered in closed session rather than open session because they include a discussion of specific employees, which is confidential employment matter. Hearing all of that, are there any objections to going into executive session? Hearing none, is there a motion as such?
So moved.
So moved by Rodney.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Moran. And all those in favor of going into executive session, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And we are in executive session. Welcome, everyone, back to the 4 o'clock public agenda items. We do have a brief agenda today, but we will certainly try to get through those as quickly as possible. We'll start with a moment of silence. If you'd ask if you would rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll now turn the chair over to the superintendent. Our first order of business is the election of officers for the school year 25.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. So my order of business would be to ask for nominations for president of the board.
I nominate Tom Woods if he would take it.
Sure.
Is there a second to that nomination?
I second that.
I'll second it.
Mrs. Liller beat you to it, has seconded the nomination. So we have a nomination for President of the Board, Mr. Woods, and a second. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for a vote as Mr. Woods to be President of the Board. All those in favor?
Aye.
I believe, Mr. Woods, it is, not I believe, I know, it is a unanimous vote. Thank you for being willing to continue to serve. And now I will turn everything back over to our board president, Mr. Tom Woods.
Thank you. Thank each of you for giving the retired guy something to do. We'll now have a election of the vice president. I'll take nominations for a vice president.
I'd like to nominate Rodney Glodfeldy if he will do it.
Sure.
Rodney has been nominated. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Don. Any other nominations for vice president? Discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of Rodney Glodfeldy as vice president for the school year of 2025 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And thank you, Rodney, for doing that once again.
No problem. It's a much easier job than president.
The approval of the agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the public agenda.
So moved.
So moved by Don. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Sadie. Discussion? All those in favor of the public agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And the agenda is adopted. Approval of the consent agenda. Motion?
So moved.
So moved by Don. Second by Rodney. All those in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And the consent agenda is approved. Once again, those closed session summaries, announcements, what is entailed in the consent agenda, all those things can be found online on our website. We certainly encourage folks to do that as you will. Our first order of continuing business is GCPS strategic plan aligned with the blueprint for Maryland's future. This is an action item, and Dr. Miller will make the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. We certainly went over a high-level review at last board meeting for information on this topic on the strategic plan for the next 3 years. So happy to answer any questions or.
It is an action item, so we'll need a motion and a second to have discussion. Is there a motion to adopt the strategic plan?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Moran,
I will second.
second by Mr. Glotfeldt. Discussions concerning the strategic plan as presented to us at the last meeting.
Yep, I do have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Don.
On page 5, under the core priorities, you have priority 1, staffing, and priority 2, high-quality instruction. It would seem to me those are in backwards order.
Yeah. So the reason they're in that order is because when we went back to, I believe it was the October or November board meeting, we voted on the policy that I believe it was ADA goals was the title of the policy, and it has the board's vision, mission, and priorities listed within it. In that policy, the priorities are listed in this order. So we can certainly adjust them, but we just kept it consistent with the policy. So that's why it's in that order at this point.
So we'd have to change the policy.
I mean, they're the same priorities. I don't know that it would necessarily require a change in the policy to change the order. I can certainly change the order if that's the board's wishes.
Discussions, other board members, any concerns about the way it is or the way it could be? Okay, leave it alone? Okay.
The other thing I would add is it is somewhat consistent with the blueprint pillars as well.
Yeah.
Priority 1 is early childhood, but priority 2 is staffing, and then it goes back into instruction again. So there's really no significance to the order. They're all very important to the work that we do for our students.
Other questions? Strategic plan? Okay. Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor and a second to adopt the GCPS strategic plan aligned with blueprint for Maryland's future. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And the plan is adopted. Once again, Dr. Miller, thank you and your staff, your team, everybody's that was a part of that for doing that. That is a daunting task, filled with, I'm sure, lots of changes for the future, unfortunately. I hate to say that, but it's going to happen.
It may happen some, but we're fortunate in that this is built in the work that we're doing and that is important to our students and our staff. And we had a lot of input from a variety of stakeholders. And it's not just a blueprint plan. It's a Garrett County Public School strategic plan. So there's some benefit in that. There may be some tweaks based on legislation, but we'll just play through those.
Well, very well done. Very
Thank
proud
you.
of it. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
The FY 2024-25 school calendar update. Dr. McCartney will make that presentation.
And, excuse me, what we really wanted to do was to give the board an update as to where we are in the calendar. You know, we have asked the state to allow us to go to school on 2 of our makeup days. We are still waiting for a decision on that. Once we have a decision, we will update everything on our website so that the public is well aware of those. I also wanted to remind everyone as we're looking at this that we have moved to using virtual learning days. I also want to remind all of us that along with virtual days, while we will use those, we will still use delays, and we may need to do a school closing on occasion, but we will try to use all of those days very judiciously, keeping in mind the safety of our students as well as the learning opportunities that we need to provide. So just wanted to update people regarding that. We are going to do a press release again before long, reminding people of the virtual learning days. Typically on a virtual learning, we will not use more than 2 of those in a row because we need time with our students to continue to prepare for those following days. So just sort of be aware of that, and we'll just continue to operate on our calendar. Right now, our 91st day, which is a floating day in the calendar, this is the last year that we need to do a floating day. We were able to change that. So on February the 3rd, we will have a professional day and an early dismissal for our students. But again, be aware that that day might change again, should we need to close school for inclement weather.
I would like to make one comment as a lifelong educator, and particularly in Garrett County. I do appreciate very much making the decision earlier than later. I think that helps families immensely to plan for babysitting for the next day or whatever the course may be. So I do appreciate yourself and the staff that works with that, of letting everybody in the county know in plenty of time what the next day is going to be. So thank you for that.
I'll just add a little bit. in case people are listening, because we have had input from community members over the last week about delaying or closing or how we're operating. Our first call was always, of course, the safety of our students. Our buses are well equipped to deal with snow. And we have professional drivers. That is very helpful to us when we're looking at how we should operate on a day. The forecasting of weather last week was not of great benefit to us on different occasions, and I fully see that. I can look out my window and see that. But I also know that all of our buses got children to school safely and got them home safely at the end of the day. I also pay attention to our attendance on those days, and while it was down a little bit, one of the days we were at 85%, we're typically at about 92% attendance. The 85% attendance gave me, I knew that we had provided good education to a good many of our students on those days. We do have families that would prefer that we not use virtual days. We knew that when we did our survey at the beginning of the year, so we are trying to use those very carefully. And again, we did call a virtual day for tomorrow so that we have 2 days in a row. That's pretty much our limit on being able to call consecutive days of virtual days, because we really need to continue to emphasize our major role, safety and education, and being able to be sure that all of our students, no matter where they are in the county, have access to that education. So.
Good, thank you. Superintendent's going to read our student member report for our student member who was unable to be here.
Yes, our student member, I hear it is snowing outside right now, so our student member is not able to be here tonight. So this is the Garrett County Board of Education December 2024 student member report from Cadence, who, I will just add, is in the top 5 to be considered to be the student member to the State Board of Education. So go Cadence. Her report under student reports is Haley Sisler and Terry Lewis recently won gold medals in bowling at the State Special Olympics. Emma Hostetler of Northern High School wins the Soccer Player of the Year. Serenity Bunner was selected as a student page for the Maryland State Page Program. Students from Northern High School and Southern High School had the opportunity to learn about careers in banking when they traveled to First United Bank and Trust headquarters and operations center. And Northern Middle raised $759 for the Cool Schools Dunk at a Dance. Student Council news from Cadence. GCASC, the County Council, will have its January Executive Board meeting on January 21st, we hope, to discuss our GA scheduled in February. I think we skipped a sentence, not with me, but anyway, the GA is scheduled in February at Hickory. President Cambria Cowell and Cadence got to attend the MASC Executive Board meeting to discuss vote on legislation for student councils. Winter Leadership Conference will be January 25th at Walter John High School. They're looking for donations to support their trip to the MASC convention in Ocean City in March. The Winter Leadership Conference will be on January. Then she goes through different schools. Cadence is very interested in representing the different schools in the county. Broadford, meeting with the youth in action to discuss several projects for the remainder of the school year, focusing on a play to say no to drugs. 7th and 8th grade at Southern High held a canned food drive for a local food pantry. 9 through 12 at Southern High hosted the holiday light show at Broadford, which was open to the public. They are working through their vaping grant that we awarded to them, to the student councils through the board. And February the 4th, Yacht Glades, Crellin, Broadford, there will be a community Peace Southern Garrett High School Student Council is hosting Joshua Main from top youth speakers, and I know that that will also be an evening opportunity for parents to attend at Southern High to hear a speaker anti-vaping and to learn more about vaping. Operation Gift Giving is going on, and they're planning their winter homecoming. Northern Middle did a toy drive for WVU's Children's Hospital. They're planning a friendship Valentine Graham exchange for students, and they were selected as the Spotlight School for a virtual visit with Newbery Award-winning author Jasmine Warga. Northern High is planning the 6-man club Spirit Nights for basketball to lessen the cost. And they're planning a Valentine's Day wooden rose sale. State members of Board of Education initiatives, they approved the student outreach, got to speak at the Your School, Your Voice rally hosted by Delegate Joe Vogel to speak on the importance of youth voting. Attended divisional caucus meetings with other student leaders in our region. An additional note, Southern Garrett Marching Band annual showcase of Legos is scheduled for January 25th.
Thank you. Thank you, Cadence, for that outstanding report. Okay, our next item of business is to set a meeting date and time for each month. This is an action item. Typically, we have met on the second Tuesday of the month at 4 p.m. unless scheduled at a different time. That's kind of been our standard time. So I'll take a motion as to what is the board's pleasure.
I move to maintain the scheduled meetings at the second Tuesday of every month unless there's a reason to change it. And that comes up from time to time.
Does your motion also include a time?
4.
Okay.
Unless we have to change it.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, then we will vote on continuing with the second Tuesday of the month as a 4 p.m. public session. Those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. And we will set 4 o'clock on the second Tuesday of the month. Yeah, I should mention that. Sure, thank you. We'll mention that we will continue to rotate one month at the southern end of the county, 1 month at the northern end of the county. So I think that certainly makes it much more accessible to folks throughout the county to come to meetings as they choose. We also need to, as an action item, adopt legal counsel for our upcoming school year. Is there a motion from the floor to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt
Our,
the motion on the floor.
okay. The motion to adopt our present counsel,
Yes.
Hoover and Costello. I think it's is the other way around, Costello and Hoover, as our attorney again. There's a motion to adopt that law firm. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Matt? Okay. Discussion? Hearing none, then we'll take a vote to adopt Costello and Hoover as our board attorney for the school year of 2020, for the calendar year of 2025. Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And we are adopting our legal counsel as has been. You're more than welcome.
I just want to thank everybody for the vote. As I've shared in previous years, as a 2001 graduate of Northern High School, it's a real honor to be here and serve as your counsel. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Brandon, for your outstanding job that you've done for us. We're very grateful for that. Are there any, okay, we do have committee assignments, so you see those there, and Matt, if you would take a look at that. And I know Jason had been on the policy committee, and certainly it'd be a wonderful committee for you if you wanted to serve on that, to learn a lot more about policies for the school system. But everybody take a look. If there's something there that you would like to be a part of, please let Karen know as soon as possible. I think we have to have those in, Karen, like tomorrow. I know it's very soon to MABE, so take a look at that. Any other board member updates? Anybody have anything?
Just a question, do we need to adopt the same policy we have this year to alternate the locations to the north and south? Or we can just continue that?
I think we could just continue. I think we just call the meeting place as we choose.
Okay.
And I think we should be okay. Yes, go ahead, Sadie.
I just wanted to say, I went to the Holiday Light Show at Broadford. I'm always impressed. I go every year. This year, they added hot chocolate with deeds. It was just a nice event. It would be nice to know if it was a good fundraiser for them, so maybe we could find that out. Also, I'm also looking forward to going to the vaping presentation that's going to be done on the 4th of February. I'm excited about that, to hear the information.
Other updates?
Yeah, I attended a legislative committee meeting at MABE yesterday, and we haven't really got a list of bills that we're debating yet. As soon as they come up and we take a position on them, I'll keep you aware of that. Right now, everybody's waiting for the governor's budget to see what his plans are for the blueprint. And there's a lot of discussion about blueprint and what priorities we should have. And it's a work in progress. We're meeting every 2 weeks during the session. So I'll keep you aware.
Okay, thank you, Rodney. Anything else? I do know we have, see Mr. Edwards back there, we have the white coat ceremony, 28th, January 28th, for those students. And certainly encourage each of you who can attend to do that. Certainly it's a great achievement for those students. Okay, let's go and go to the superintendent's updates.
Well, I'll start by going back to weather. I want to thank student, staff, parents for their adaptability and cooperation. Today was the first virtual learning day for the school year. I did check in with several of our principals, and all was going well. Received a couple calls this morning about going to a virtual learning, but with a wind chill warning of 10 to 15 below from our National Weather Service, we just decided it was too dangerous for children to wait outside for a school bus. And with these extreme temperatures, as we're expecting again tomorrow, we also have to consider the reliability of other critical equipment, including our buses. Some upcoming events that I want to remind people of, these are on your announcements and they're on our website, but a couple to highlight. with all of the school that we've missed, we will also still be closed on Martin Luther King Day on January the 20th. All schools and offices will be closed. As mentioned earlier tonight, the January 28th is the Maryland State Board of Education meeting where they will vote on whether to approve our request to use Monday, February the 17th, which is Washington's birthday holiday, Monday, January 21st, Easter Monday holiday as makeup days. We will post information on our website and in other manners to get the information out as soon as we get information from the state board. Again, as I mentioned earlier, February the 3rd is a professional day with a 3-hour early dismissal for students. This date might need to be adjusted if we should have another day of school closure. The Cool Schools Dunk will occur on Thursday, February the 20th, 2025. This event started in 2019 and has been a great fundraising effort by our secondary schools. If you would like to sponsor a student, reach out to a student or contact the school of your choice. All funds raised from the Cool Schools Dunk stay right here in Garrett County and benefit our Garrett County Unified Sports Program. This year's fundraising goal is $25,000, so please note also that this event this year takes place on a Thursday when historically it has been on Fridays. That's it for the superintendent's report this month.
Okay, thank you. Questions, concerns? Under informational items, we do have a number of things. The GCPS annual report 2024, and I will say that is really, truly outstanding. Not only the information, but the way it was presented to us. I assume, Mark, you and Karen probably had something to do with that? Well, thank you. Everybody who had something to do with it. But it is
Mainly Mr. Oops, sorry.
Okay.
But I do want to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Green for pulling that together for us. In previous years, we have run a lot of copies of that report. We decided this year that making it available electronically would be our best distribution system.
It's excellently done, though. Very well done. There's also a new mileage rate available to you as well to look at. MABE priorities and positions. Rodney, is there anything you want to speak to concerning that information? Anything you want to speak to about the MABE legislative priorities? Is there anything you want to add?
I don't know. I mean, it's basically local control and so something, they're adequate local funding for school systems, and I don't have it right in front of me. So,
Yeah, no, we discussed it last time. I just didn't know if there was anything that's come up lately.
no,
That you wanted to
there
add?
was some discussion and some wordsmithing a little bit on that last meeting, but I think right now the big issue is how much cuts are we going to get from the state, and what are they going to cut, and what will hurt us the least if they cut. I think in our conversations with appropriations Chair Barnes, I mean he says that there's still supportive of full funding for the blueprint, at least for the next 2 years, but we don't know what the governor's going to do and what the Senate might think.
Yeah. Well, the governor's
And
pretty much come
I
out.
think Dr. McCarty
some
is going to
cuts.
get more information on Governor, Brody.
Okay, great. We're going to take a recess until approximately 6 p.m. We will then come back to address our Northern Area Advisory Committee report. That'll be presented to the board tonight. So we'll see everybody again at 6 p.m. To adjourn from this meeting, this public meeting, so that we can start a new public meeting at 6 PM. So I'll take a motion to adjourn. So moved by Rodney,
Second?
second by Don. All those in favor of adjourning the public session, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay.